Good morning. It's time for today's AM Minnesota program, and we are going to be talking about the beef industry. Of course, May is Beef Month. My guest in the program today is Kaye Strohbehn. She's a director of marketing for the Minnesota Beef Council. Kaye, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Jerry. Thanks so much for having us.
Well, Kaye, tell us a little bit more about yourself, and you have a big responsibility there, director of marketing. So where did you grow up? What's your background, and where did you get your passion for the beef industry?
Sure. Well, that's a great question. I actually grew up in central Iowa, right outside of Ames. I come from a cow-calf background. My family raises purebred Angus down in Iowa in partnership with a few other families. So very proud to be from the great state of Iowa and have my background consists of a degree in a Bachelor of Science degree, in animal science from South Dakota State, go Jackrabbit, and also a Master of Science degree in agricultural education from Iowa State, so go Cyclones. I have previously worked for Iowa State University Extension and Outreach prior to coming to the Minnesota Beef Council, and have been on staff for a little over a year now, serving as the director of marketing for our beef farmers and ranchers in the great state of Minnesota.
All right, we better get something straight here. You are a Minnesota Gopher fan now, though, right? Unless they're playing the Cyclones or the Jackrabbits, right?
Correct, absolutely.
So you were a perfect fit then for the Beef Council with your background actually in the beef industry, and you're a farm girl then.
I am.
Well, we should always, or I always like to review a little bit what the beef checkoff was all about. And sometimes I'm sure you get phone calls about what do you think about this, or you should take a position on that. The checkoff: research, education, and promotion.
Yes, that is correct. The Minnesota Beef Council was established in 1967, and what we do here at the Beef Council is we administer the Beef Checkoff Program on behalf of beef farmers and ranchers in Minnesota. And the checkoff focuses, as you said, predominantly on conducting research, education, and promotional programs about beef and beef products. And again, we represent more than 18,000 beef farmers and ranchers in this capacity through the Beef Checkoff Program. So very proud of the work that we do here at Minnesota Beef Council and representing our beef farmers and ranchers.
And you work with and promote all types of beef production backgrounds. We sometimes hear about grass-fed and organic and then conventional. You don't specify, you just promote all beef.
That is correct. We can't promote any specific breed or brand for that matter. We are very
not even Angus, right?
No, I have to stay neutral in that regard.
Obviously, it sounds like you enjoy what you're doing, working for all those hardworking cattlemen and cattlewomen in Minnesota.
I do. I greatly enjoy what I do, and it's been a pleasure getting to know all of our beef farmers and ranchers here in the great state of Minnesota.
Just a little over a minute. We have to take a break for the markets. Before that, Kitty, why don't you just explain a little bit then specifically about what you do with the Minnesota Beef Research and Promotion Council, the director of marketing?
Sure. As director of marketing, I'm responsible for all of our public relation activities as well as our consumer influencer outreach programs and all of our promotional programs. So I work with anyone from dietitians to consumers to members of the media to promote and enhance beef's image here in Minnesota.
Well, after the market break, we want to talk about some of the specific programs and events you've been doing, not only during May Beef Month, but all throughout the year. A lot of things going on. As Ron Eustace, the former executive director of the Minnesota Beef Council, his favorite saying is, while May is recognized as Beef Month, every month is Beef Month.
That's absolutely correct.
My guest in the program today is Kaye Strohbehn, who is the Director of Marketing for the Minnesota Beef Council. Kaye, just before the market break, we talked a bit about what you do on behalf of all cattlemen in the state of Minnesota, some of the things that the checkoff is all about. We should quickly mention again that you don't get involved in issues like country of origin labeling and all those kinds of things. The response there is, if you want to get involved in that, join the State Cattlemen's Association where you voluntarily pay in, right? Yep, are you there, Kaye?
I am here, and that is correct. We can't do any lobbying on behalf of beef farmers and ranchers in the state of Minnesota. But as you mentioned, we do, through the checkoff program, focus predominantly on conducting research, education, and promotion programs about beef and beef products.
Well, May was designated as Beef Month quite some time ago. Historically, was kind of the traditional start of the grilling season. But boy, with all of the gas grills, and I don't think I'm unusual there, but if it's not too cold, I'm grilling in the wintertime too.
That is excellent to hear. We definitely have traditionally recognized May as Beef Month here in the state of Minnesota, but we want to make sure that consumers are keeping beef either on the grill throughout the summer or cooking beef all year long.
Well, what are some of the major activities and events that the Beef Council has been involved in, Kaye, as we kind of kicked off May Beef Month?
Well, we've been involved in a lot of different activities, Sherry, throughout the month of May. Some of the ones that I want to talk about today are, first and foremost, our Grill Fest event. Our team was excited to be a sponsor of Grill Fest again this year on May 16th and 17th. And we partnered up with Dr. Ryan Cox and the University of Minnesota Meat Science team to grill flank steak with a Cuban mojo marinade. And people were amazed at just how tender the flank steak was. And we heard comments such as the steak was amazing and delicious, and they need the recipe. Also, we had everybody wanted to take home a beef cut chart so that they could put it on their refrigerator and explore more of our beef cuts throughout the month of May with grilling season. And Grill Fest provides an opportunity for consumers to really taste their way through their favorite grilled foods and test out some of the hottest grills and gather recipes and learn how to barbecue like a pro with some of those latest grilling tips. So definitely reaching out to consumers about different grilling tips throughout the summer and keeping beef on the grill is one of our favorite events throughout the summer through that Grill Fest program. But also new this year, a program that we've started is our partnership with the Twin Cities Burger Battle. And we were very excited to be a part of the 2015 Twin Cities Burger Battle on May 16th in Minneapolis. The Twin Cities Burger Battle invited 19 of the Twin Cities' best burger joints and restaurants to showcase their culinary skills in a burger cooking competition. And consumers sampled and tasted slider burgers had an opportunity, to taste from 19 different restaurants. And there were 2 awards given. The People's Choice Award winner, which was determined by consumers voting for their favorite by placing a chip that they had received in a box at their favorite burger booth as they walked around the exhibit location. And the winner of the People's Choice Award was St. Paul Grill. And their burger was a triple prime beef burger topped with pancetta, blonde ale mustard, IPA marinated fried shallots, caramelized onions, porter sauce, and a smoked Gouda on a salted pretzel bun. And also, the Twin Cities Burger Battle had a panel of about 6 judges that were instrumental in helping select this year's champion of the Burger Battle, in addition to the People's Choice Award. And the 2015 champion was Patty Shack of St. Paul. And their burger was made of a grass-fed beef adorned with American cheese, pickled green tomatoes, onions, and patty sauce. So we're very excited to partner and try out some of these great burgers along with our consumers this year at the Twin Cities Burger Battle. So very fun event and a great way to keep beef on the menu and have our consumers test out some great beef products from local restaurants.
I'm willing to bet that those restaurants that won the Burger Battle probably have their award, plaque, trophy, or whatever proudly on display in their restaurants.
Oh, absolutely. And, the 2014 winner even had their burger. They give a trophy in the shape of topped with a burger on top. So very fitting for the event. And the last year's winner, the 2014 winner from B52, they did have their nice trophy displayed in a case at Burger Battle this year. So there's definitely a fun, friendly competition event amongst the local restaurants that participate in this particular event. So very fun and engaging experience.
I'll bet you had quite a few people there then that wanted to pick up some tips on grilling and adventuresome, always ready to try something new.
We did. We had had the opportunity as part of being a sponsor of this year's Burger Battle to have an educational booth where consumers could come over and ask us different questions related to beef and also different grilling tips at both Grill Fest as well as the Twin Cities Burger Battle. So definitely provided an opportunity to do some educational outreach and promotional efforts on behalf of the Minnesota Beef Council and our beef farmers and ranchers at both events.
As much as I love steaks and grilling steaks, still, Kaye, my favorite is hamburger some way, whether it's in a hot dish or whether it's a burger. And I think that's probably true of a lot of folks, that they just love hamburger, whatever shape it's in.
Yeah, absolutely. Ground beef is a great versatile item and beef product that allows a lot of flexibility in menuing and different meal solutions. Some of our different menuing and meal solutions that you can find with ground beef, you can find recipes at beefwhichatwishfordinner.com, anywhere from the tastiest burgers to how you can put ground beef as part of make it into a healthy meal solution on that Beef Which for Dinner recipe site. So great resource for those of you out there listening and want some different meal solutions. But also I want to add that you can also reach out to us here at the Minnesota Beef Council and definitely get a variety of different recipes as well by checking out our website, which is mmbeef.org, as well as our social media properties. We are on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Pinterest. So be sure to stop on over and check us out. Lots of different recipes for ground beef, as well as steaks and other beef items also.
Now, is that part of your responsibility, too, keeping up everything in the social media? Do you get to do that, too?
I do. I manage all of our social media properties on behalf of the Minnesota Beef Council. So stop on by and join our conversation and say hello on social media. We love to hear from consumers what they think about our beef product and different unique recipes. So feel free to come on over and join our conversation on social media.
In case you're wondering, Kaye, some of us did grow up without cell phones and computers, and we did manage to make it through.
Yes.
But it is a great opportunity for the Beef Council on the behalf of cattlemen and women to reach out to consumers. It's amazing, too. My dad's 87 years old, and he's on Facebook, and he's on his computer all the time. So it is a great way to reach out to consumers. It
is. It's been amazing to watch us see some of our results through not only social media but also through our website, and how consumers are continually reaching out to us through technology and utilizing those different platforms, and being able to reach them through those different platforms has really been quite unique and advantageous to us from a business perspective.
Okay, didn't you mention the Grill Fest? Was that flank steaks that you were grilling? Did you mention flank steaks?
It was a flank steak. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the Beef Council should stand up and take a bow. Wasn't that the cut that came from like the chuck or the round? Normally that just went into ground beef, but it was muscle profiling research funded by the checkoff that developed that flank steak, and a great way to add more value to the beef animal.
Yeah, that is correct. We actually did as you mentioned, a muscle profiling study a few years back. And what that study really allowed us to do is take a deeper dive into some different beef primals on our beef carcass that you wouldn't think would be lean, but as a result of the study, we were able to find over 29 different cuts of beef that are lean and meet the demand for lean cuts of beef as part of a dietary pattern. So all lean beef cuts have less than 10 grams of total fat, 4.5 grams or less of saturated fat, and less than 95 milligrams of cholesterol per 3.5 ounce cooked serving. So the bottom line is you have over 29 cuts that meet that parameter of 10 grams of total fat or less, which is quite incredible. So if you're looking for a lean, healthy option as part of your diet and looking to reduce your total fat, definitely beef can be part of that solution for you from a meal standpoint. I also want to point out, Jerry, that a 3-ounce serving of lean beef has about 150 calories, and it's naturally packed with 10 essential nutrients, including iron, zinc, B vitamins, and protein. And a 3-ounce serving of lean beef provides 25 grams, so almost half of your daily value for protein, which is one of the most satisfying nutrients out there. So definitely beef can be part of a diet every day, and we really want to emphasize those main points to consumers, that beef can be on demand and part of your family dinner as well as breakfast and lunch year-round.
There are some nutrients that are in beef that are very difficult to get in your diet from any other source, isn't it? I mean, it's not that it can't be done, but it's very difficult compared to just having servings of beef.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, protein is one of the biggest nutrients that you can get from beef. About half of that daily value for protein comes from beef, but beef is also packed with lots of B vitamins as well as zinc iron, as well as zinc and iron that you can get from that. We have a great infographic called our Beef Big 10, which can be found on the mnbeef.org website, which helps explain to consumers the nutritional benefits of beef and incorporating beef as part of that diet.
A number of years ago, Ron Eustace invited me up to the Heart Gala. The Minnesota Beef Council was helping sponsor that, and there were a lot of cardiologists, doctors at this banquet, and the vast majority of them were eating beef. They had the option of vegetarian if they wanted, but they were eating beef. What does that tell you?
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Jerry. In fact, we want to point out to many consumers, they don't recognize that we've done an extensive amount of research in more recent years in collaboration with the American Heart Association. And at the present time, we recently just got certified 8 different cuts of beef to display the coveted heart check mark, signifying that they meet the American Heart Association's requirements for heart-healthy foods as part of an overall healthy eating pattern. And you can definitely find more information about that at the Beef What's for Dinner website. But that is something we always try to point out, is we have different meal solutions for those that are concerned about heart disease and different cuts of beef. Beef can definitely be a great source of some of that nutritional value that is so high in demand with those 8 different cuts of beef.
And let me point out, if you want to be a vegetarian, that's fine. Do your own thing. Just don't tell me I have to be.
Well, I like to hear that.
I also wanted to point out, it will be 10 years ago, later this week, that I ended up at Abbott Northwestern, and I had a stent put in. And I always like to point out that the cardiologist, when I checked out of Abbott Northwestern, didn't tell me I couldn't eat beef anymore.
Really?
Yeah, beef was way back then already. They said lean beef is great in your diet, and I didn't have to give it up.
Well, that's a great story to tell.
So what are some of the other things, and do you get involved, Kaye, with reaching out to younger consumers, like in high schools or in grade schools, anything like that, to tell the beef story?
We do. We do some beef outreach in kindergarten through 12th grade and youth outreach through our Minnesota State Beef Ambassador Program. And the Beef Ambassador Program is a collaboration between the Minnesota Beef Council, which is sponsored by the Beef Checkoff, and the Minnesota State Cattlewomen's Association. And what we do is each year we select a team of youth between the ages of 13 to 19 that represent the beef industry here in the state of Minnesota through different promotional efforts. And this month in particular, as well as all year round, our state beef ambassadors, we have 5 this year. Carly Jackson is our senior beef ambassador, and Carly is attending South Dakota State University. We also have Zach Clares. Zach will be attending South Dakota State University this fall, and also Amy Beckstrand will be attending South Dakota State University this fall. They are all our senior beef ambassador team, and then they are joined by Abby Schiefelbein as well as Martha Menning, who are both our junior beef ambassadors. And throughout the year, the beef ambassadors do a great job of doing different classroom activities at their local schools and teaching youth about beef. But we also do some here at the Beef Council. We recently, in May, participated in an Urban Ag Day in collaboration with Minnesota Ag in the Classroom. And we reached over 500 third graders that came to learn about all the commodities. But through our booth, we really wanted to emphasize the importance of nutrition and where beef fits as part of a healthy dietary pattern for youth.
I just want to know more about where their food comes from. So it is part of the outreach too, isn't it, to try and educate the consumers, maybe get to meet cattlemen, cattlewomen, and let them know how their food is raised and the livestock are taken care of. That's pretty important too nowadays.
Absolutely. Now more than ever, it's definitely of value and importance to educate consumers on where their food comes from. Because if you think about it, a lot of us aren't being raised on farms anymore, and have an understanding of where our beef product comes from. In fact, only it's great to be able to do that outreach, and we do quite a bit of that outreach here through the Beef Council. We'll be conducting a farm tour coming up in July for local moms from the Twin Cities to be able to take them out to the farm if they would like to learn more about where beef comes from. We also do quite a bit of farm visits through the Beef Checkoff program with our registered dietitians and dietetic interns. And also local chefs. We often partner with our other state beef councils to get chefs and culinary professionals out on a farm to just learn more about where the beef comes from and the source of our product.
And then we should also mention again, get a plug in for your website, because there you can meet cattlemen, families, and so you can take a tour at home or sitting there watching TV on your laptop.
Absolutely. We have some great resources available on our website, mmbeef.org. We have a program called our Meet a Minnesota Farmer page, which gives you a nice overview and helps it's a great way to learn a little bit more from our beef farmers and ranchers here in the state of Minnesota about what they do. But by all means, if you ever have questions or if consumers ever have questions or would like a farm visit, by all means, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help arrange an opportunity to go on a farm visit at any point in time and learn more about our beef. We love to teach consumers about where their food comes from and recognize that that is an area of importance to them as well as to us. We continually want to portray for the beef industry that we are committed as beef farmers and ranchers to raising a safe, wholesome, and nutritious and delicious product for your consumption. So by all means, if we can ever help address some of your questions, feel free to reach out at any point in time.
When you mention the beef industry, you might think of Texas or maybe Iowa, but I argue that the beef industry is critical in Minnesota too, and I have to be honest, for 18 years after college, I milked 100 cows and worked 600 acres of land. I didn't see myself as a cattleman, I saw myself as a dairy farmer, but the cattle industry is a big part of the beef industry, or the dairy industry is a big part of the beef industry.
Absolutely. Here in Minnesota in particular, we have quite a few dairy cattle on that are being fed for beef production. So we really have a nice collaboration with our friends in the dairy business as well, and we work very much hand in hand together. And because at the end of the day, we're both trying to raise beef, and through that collaboration effort.
We only have a couple minutes left, Kaye, but wanted to quickly mention, too, about another program that the Beef Council's been very involved in on the production side with the beef quality assurance. Once again, educating the producers about the proper techniques, but also then to be able to say to the consumer, we met these standards.
Yeah, so the Beef Quality Assurance Program has been in existence since the 1980s. And what the program entails is the Beef Quality Assurance Program, we recognize that consumers have questions about how cattle are raised and the proper care given. But we want consumers to also know that the Beef Checkoff and beef farmers and ranchers here in the great state of Minnesota are very much committed to raising their animals in the most well-fashioned possible. And we created the Beef Quality Assurance Program, has been in existence, and it helps train beef farmers and ranchers about safe handling as well as appropriate use of antibiotics. And we want to make sure that no matter what, we are raising the safest, most wholesome and nutritious products for consumption.
We are almost out of time, Kaye. Once again, if you have any questions or concerns, or maybe you'd like a beef ambassador or someone from the Beef Council to speak to your group, all they have to do is get a hold of you guys and ask.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And your website once again?
mnbeef.org.
And if you go to that website, there's telephone numbers, contact people, take a tour, meet some cattlemen in Minnesota. So utilize, and also if you're looking for great recipes, right? You mentioned that earlier.
Yes, we also have some great recipes on our website as well.
Well, thanks for your time, Kaye, and go enjoy a burger for lunch.
Great, thank you.
My guest in the program today has been Kaye Strohbehn, who's the Director of Marketing for the Minnesota Beef Council. That concludes today's AM Minnesota program. Here's the news from